Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and studies are going in full swing. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about the options that you might have in case you are contemplating buying our lectures or the books in terms of FR and AFM at final CA or advanced accounts at your CA intermediate. Various batches which are there, the differences between them and which batch is most suitable and viable for you in case you decide to go ahead. So over here, both for FR as well as AFM, if you were to start with final CA first, you will have three batches. First will be the regular batch, which is the most detailed one. Second is the exam oriented batch, and third is the refresher batch. The views and the validities for each of them are mentioned over here, and the prices are also specifically mentioned in case you want to consider each of them separately. So in terms of the difference, when you look at a regular batch, we try to do this in a much more slower way, in a way where we give students time to think, to solve on their own as well. Over here, we try to discuss various alternative treatments, extra possibilities, as well as practical perspectives. Again, everything which is relevant for the exam. At the same time, because you're doing final CA and if you have time, you need to have a much more holistic understanding, and hence regular batch will be helpful if your attempt is in probably January 2027 onwards. Even students who are having a September 26 attempt may consider, but January 27 onwards, regular batch, if you like slow paced and detailed study, this is something which will be quite helpful for you for both FR as well as AFM. Now, a lot of students are usually confused between the differences between the regular as well as the exam oriented batch. So the coverage in regular and exam oriented is exactly the same. In fact, the books that we are using are exactly the same. So it is not that we are kind of trimming or cutting through the questions in the exam oriented batch versus a regular batch. However, the hours will be less because over here we will be discussing and solving each and every sum. However, this will be done in a much more exam oriented and focused manner, where we are going to largely focus on what is relevant for the exam. All the treatments, all the adjustments, all the concepts will be discussed at complete length. The student might not have enough time to kind of write the solutions, think over it, but with a recorded batch, you can always pause and do that in a way that makes it on par with a regular batch as well, with an optimum amount of time. If you are the type of a student who is very exam focused and the student, we will discuss all the concepts in detail. However, the practical insights, perspectives will be relatively limited. Alternative treatments will be discussed, which is more relevant from an exam perspective. However, multiple scenarios and cases may not be built up in an exam oriented batch as much as they are done in regular batch. Having said that, from an exam scoring perspective, those will not really have any difference. So if for you time and exam preparation is of essence, then exam oriented batch will be perfect for you, so that you can optimize the time, so you get the coverage of a regular in a much more shorter span of time. So if a regular for FR is, let's say, 300 plus hours, maybe a fast track or an exam oriented batch with the same coverage will be around 200. For AFM, if the regular is around 220 odd, then your exam oriented will be around 120 odd, and hence there will be a 120, 130 odd. So there is a significant time saving, and in case for important topics, if you want to try on your own, you can always pause. In case of a regular batch, it will happen in a much more slower way and in a much more detailed way, with a lot more insights and practical aspects and a lot of different alternative treatments which are possible as well. So that is the core difference. The coverage, I will again repeat, remains the same. If you ask any of our students who have taken either of these batches, the books are also exactly the same, and we don't cut corners at all in the exam oriented batch. So we don't really label it as a crash course or a fast track, because it is not. It gives you complete coverage. Every sum will be solved by me in complete detail on the board. Having said that, we can take a bit of liberty where you have to prepare a complete schedule 3, for example. Rather than writing each and every items, we will have a template, or we will write the numbers which are directly there, so you can understand everything which is there in the exam oriented batch. Now, if you don't even have time to cover the exam oriented batch, you have done earlier, you just want brushing up on concepts and the important questions. So there is a refresher batch. So in terms of the refresher batch, we have discussed the concepts, all the concepts, and all the important or LDR questions, whatever are the last day revision questions are there. But again, in case of our regular batch or our exam oriented batch, so for FR you will have the FR Shield, for AFM you have the AFM Shield, which is a concept book, and you will have 3 volumes in FR and 2 volumes in AFM. Now when you come to the refresher batch, that gets reduced in FR to 2 volumes and in AFM to 1 volume. Now additionally the 3rd volume is also there, but what we have tried to do is we have tried to segregate all the important questions and put them into those 1 or 2 volumes, and the 3rd volume, which can be in soft copy, which can be in hard copy, whatever you prefer, will be having the lesser important questions for which separate videos will be attached. Having said that, if you are running out of time, I would say you can just focus on the core refresher batch, which is around 120 odd hours for FR and close to 70 odd hours for AFM, which will cover your concepts from an exam perspective in detail. If you have already done FR or AFM earlier, this will be a good brush up for you and all the important questions. So the lesser important ones, we would have kept it aside. Remember, it's a separate batch recording. It is not that the exam oriented batch we have tried to cut and modify. It's a completely separate, which is a refresher batch account recording, which is relevant for a student maybe who does not have decent concept clarity, or a student who has taken a course a long time back and does not have clarity and does not want to invest a lot of time. So for them, refresher batch will be helpful. Now if you take a combo, there is a good enough anywhere between 10 to 15% discount on each of them, and that will really help you. You can always activate one of them which you have started and maybe look at the other subject slightly later, and hence your activation starts from that. All of these batches, irrespective of their validity, up to your attempt, if there is any change, if there is any amendment, you will get open lectures either on your Google Drive or on your on YouTube. All of these have complimentary test series which are included, which will have anywhere between 4 to 5 tests in FR as well as AFM, for regular as well as exam oriented, and around 2 to 3 tests for a refresher, where you can write, solve the paper, send it for evaluation. You get the turnaround corrected paper within, let us say, a week, along with feedback. So that will be something which is helpful. So if you don't have time for the lectures at all, and if you just want the books, then the same books which are there, which is for regular as well as exam oriented, which is the same books, those books can be taken either in a hard copy format or in a ebook format, whatever you have comfortable. So sometimes a student has the hard copies and they just want the lectures. So for each of these products you will have an ebook option, and currently till around 15th of July on each of these products there is around 500 rupees off. It's a small let's say gesture, and after 15th July the prices for each of these products will go up by around 500. Even in intermediate for advanced accounts, we don't have a refresher batch, but we have an exam oriented fast track batch. That is, I would say, a fast track batch where we discuss the concepts along with the questions, and you have a detailed regular batch. Both of these were 2020, all of these I would say are 2020-25 recordings only. So you have the latest recordings, and if there is any change that does come, all of this will be available for you. Now, if you are in two minds still, you can always watch the demo lectures for the respective batches and then come to your decision. There would be batches which are available in full English. There would also be batches which will have Hindi and English. So you can decide which of the batches which are suitable for you and you can opt for them. If you have any questions, you can always call on these numbers on our team. Most of the demo lectures for these batches would be there on YouTube, but if you find it difficult to find it on YouTube, you can always contact the team and they will guide you regarding the demo lecture for the respective batch. And for revision videos as well, for each of the subjects, each of the chapters, there will be revision videos which are updated in every year, if not every attempt, where you will have all the topics along with important questions being discussed, and hence we will try to ensure that you get that exemption and much above in the topics that you study. I really hope that our lectures or books, if any, that you decide to go ahead will really help you in your overall preparation and help you scoring exemption grade marks and clearing that CA final in your first go, and an AIR and all blessings. Okay, so that's about it. I think if there is any further questions, please feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to our team will be happy to answer the same for you as well. Okay, so you can definitely watch the reviews or the revision videos and then come to your conclusion, but I can give you a kind of an assurance that you will have good conceptual understanding with complete coverage of ICI material, and this will be your go-to material and you don't need to refer anything further. But nevertheless, wish you all the very best for your preparations, and very excited for your CA final journey and your exams. So this is it. I'll see you soon. Bye bye and take care.